Greetings, Augies worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question is an interesting one about grounding, and I think affects quite a few people who are putting their amateur radio station in outbuildings on their property. Common outbuildings might be a separated garage, a shed, or something like that. This is JW4BLU. And he says that his future shack, where he's going to put his shack, is a detached building approximately 100 feet from the electric meter or first point of termination. The 240 volt 3-wire 100 amp sub panel in the detached building does not have a ground wire from the first point of termination, but it does have two ground rods, with the ground being isolated from the neutral in the sub-panel and the other connections thereafter. Do you see a potential problem using the detached building as described from my shack? Yes, I do. One of the problems that you're going to have is that if you have an outbuilding, if you have a ground rod there and you attach that to the building neutral, you will have some kind of feedback in there. Now the problem is the power supply. For example, this power supply right here is connected with a 3-wire plug. You've got one going to the black wire, which is the hot, one that goes to the white wire, which is going to the return. And then the ground on this thing connects to the green wire ground. And the green wire ground is what is called neutral. And it is that the right terminology for it? Let's call it green wire ground. Okay, and it goes back to the panel, attaches to the ground lug in the panel where it has its connection to the ground. Now, the problem is with this power supply is that if you ground it to those two ground rods there, that is going, because of the power supply, to directly connect the your station ground to the green wire ground in your system, which is going to give you ground loops, which could give you a lot of trouble with your circuit breakers, especially the modern circuit breakers. The answer to that is that you have to have a separate ground for your station, okay, and then that ground must be bonded to the utility ground, which is where the main entrance panel is, okay? And that means a 100-foot run of number 6 bare copper. Now, the nice thing about the bare copper is if you bury it, even a few inches, it's going to act sort of like a ground rod laid on its side the whole distance, so it will really help. And then that way, you will have everything tied together. What you kind of want to do is avoid having the two existing building ground rods in your outbuilding, which are there for lighting, connected into that, although you could connect all those ground rods together as long as you bond them. But then again, that will provide a loop in the green wire ground. What I would do for you is suggest that you get with an electrician, a real live licensed electrician, and pose your question to him. If he doesn't seem to know what you're talking about, then go to another electrician. Or go look in the yellow pages under radio, and in the radio there you find the people who run the kind of radios that businesses use in their car and so on, and they'll know because they deal with this all the time. So there you have it. I hope that helps. Please subscribe, please click like. You can learn other ways to support this channel at dkassler.com/support. And until we next meet, 73.